What is up, you guys? So in today's video, I'm gonna be going over Freedom Breeder racks. Are they worth it? And are they the better option to ARS racks and Sea Serpent racks? I have both Sea Serpent racks and ARS, but I'm gonna give you the rundown, so stay tuned for more. All right, so first things first. I'm just now getting back, literally, well, yesterday I got back, but just now, first day since getting back from my amazing tour at the Canova facility. And guys, I can't even put into words. I'm still like blown away. What I saw, what I learned just from talking to Justin there. I mean, unreal, next level stuff. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I think there was some cool knowledge being dropped in there, and you get to kind of see a first-hand look of what it's like just walking around that basically was like a lab for ball pythons. It was amazing. So once again, huge thank you to Justin. I appreciate it. You know, we went there for the podcast with MJ, and he basically gave us a full tour. You know, we hung out and talked. I mean, turns out I have a lot more in common with Justin than I thought. You know, we're both ex-WoW players, actually. In case you didn't know that about me, yeah, I had a hardcore WoW addiction for a while. That is thankfully non-existent anymore. Done with that game. Now I'm addicted to ball pythons. But yeah, I'm gonna give you the rundown on these racks. So here it is. So first things first with these racks, I'm gonna do the positives first, because you know, why not? Well, you don't want to start negative. Why would you want to start negative? Start positive. Positive. So stainless steel, beautiful to look at. High quality, doesn't rust. If it does rust, you can get some of those like those wool brushes you use in your sink, and I'm sure it'll take it right out. Haven't had to deal with that because obviously there's no rust yet. They're very easy to assemble. I mean, it's basically like playing with Legos for the most part. They come in on a pallet, you unload it from the pallet, and you just stack them right up, bam, bam, bam. Now, I think the hardest part is probably putting in the ventilation inserts. Some of those can be a little bit tricky at times, but for the most part, it's super freaking easy. I mean, just absolutely unreal how easy it is to assemble. I want to say every rack that I've done, well, I've done 2 racks, but this big one right here probably took me maybe 15 minutes to put together itself. It was very, very, very easy. Another plus is the quality. I mean, you know what you're getting. You're paying a lot of money, yeah, but in my opinion, you're getting the best quality in terms of just, not just a rack, but the tubs. I mean, the tubs, they slide out really easy. It's great. The quality, I mean, I'm gonna go down here and take the only empty one I have out. The quality itself, I think, now I have seen ARS ones in person at Tinley finally, and I'm not hating on ARS. You know, I'm not saying they're crap, and I'm not saying people that have ARS racks, you know, oh, you suck, why do you have ARS and not Freedom Breeder? But to me, Freedom Breeder tubs themselves are just vastly superior to the ARS ones. I mean, they look better, they feel better, the ARS ones look like a much cheaper plastic that I feel like if you dropped it from literally this high, it would break. These are just, they don't bend a lot, which is great. And I don't know, I mean, I just feel like the tubs are 100% a better quality than the ARS ones for sure. So next thing on the list, cleaning them. Cleaning them is easier than the ARS ones. So ARS, I know you have to, the way you assemble it, you basically have to deassemble the rack, or disassemble the rack in order to clean the ventilation things. With these, you just, I can't really show you because I have snakes in there and I'm not gonna take the snakes out and do all that. But you have to, you can just slide the inserts out, clean them off, slide them back in. Presto, super easy. I mean, these racks really don't get much easier than a Freedom Breeder in terms of assembly and cleaning, and I mean, it's the way to go in my opinion, really the way to go. And lastly, I mean, the resale value. I know ARS has incredibly good resale value. I feel like all racks, no matter what, you know, unless it's like melamine racks, but like Sea Serpent, Freedom Breeder, ARS, they all have resale value. You go on like Craigslist and they're still selling for almost the exact cost that a brand new one costs. So if you do buy one of these, you know, let's say you want to upgrade to something else. So you get a custom one like I did that's only 1, 2, 3, 5 tubs, 5 high, 4 across, and you want one that's 10 high, 4 across. You want to sell this one? You're probably going to get your money back for it. Relatively easy too. I mean, I feel like I can't find them on Craigslist at all. So I feel like once they're listed, they're gone pretty damn quick. And I do know some people that have found Freedom Breeder racks at the Goodwill. So you never know where you're going to find them. They can turn up wherever they can. Okay, so the cons. Like I said, this is all personal preference. These are not perfect racks. Yes, there are cons to them. One of the huge cons, probably the biggest one, is the wait time. You're gonna be waiting. I mean, it's COVID, so during peak COVID last year, I think their wait times were like roughly between it fluctuated between 24 to 32 weeks. This one right here took me about 24 weeks to get. I do believe their wait times are back down to 16 weeks, so they're almost back to being a pretty normal amount of time from when you order to when you get it. But that is the one con, is that the wait time right now for a Freedom Breeder rack is a little bit bad. But plus side is they have changed it to where now you can basically put a deposit down when you order your rack and then pay the remainder off when it ships. So you're not paying, you know, the full price for your rack and then being told, hey, we know you paid for this rack, but now you gotta wait 6 months to get it, which does suck. It does suck. And then the other downside would be, honestly, the price. They are expensive. Thankfully, I live in California and they are not that far up from me. I think about 5 hours. So shipping for me is relatively cheap. It's actually funny. I did research this from my end, and getting a Freedom Breeder rack shipped to me is actually cheaper than getting an ARS rack shipped. You know, I know people always say ARS is cheaper to get shipped in Freedom Breeder. Now, this is the opposite for me because I live so close to Freedom Breeder and I live far from ARS, so obviously it makes sense. But shipping costs does suck depending on where you are, so it's another inclusion to the overall price, which kind of sucks. But in my opinion, they're worth every penny you put into them. They're gonna last. It's gonna be worth it. You know, yeah, you're gonna pay a lot of money, but in the end, you're gonna get a good product. Okay, so another tiny con. I mean, these cons are all very small, I feel like, and I feel like they shouldn't deter anyone from buying a Freedom Breeder rack, but there are some sharp corners, as everyone knows, on these. You know, you'll go like right here where the tub slide, there's sharp corners there. Putting it together on the back end, there were some parts that I cut my hand on, you know, by the time I was done with it. So you do have to be a little bit careful. You know, I know the ARS ones aren't like that. They're relatively all smooth all over, which is fine. You know, that's good. These do have some sharp sides. So that is something to take into consideration. You know, do you want to cut your hands up sometimes? I don't think it's a big deal. I mean, if you're gonna get bit by a snake, it's about getting cut by a Freedom Breeder rack is about the same as getting bit by a ball python. It's not that bad. You'll live. And the last con, this is it's a bit of a big one, and it's one that does kind of annoy me to a certain extent. The bottom row of these, since they're very exposed, I do have some slight heating issues with the bottom row. So basically, you know, my top 4 rows, the heat is relatively all in line with each other, and the bottom one does run cooler because I feel like the cold from the floor does keep the bottom heat panel from fully heating up to the same level as the other ones. So that is something to take into consideration. Now, I've seen people actually at Justin's facility, I noticed he did have some of his racks, the bottom covered up with, like, I don't know what it was actually. I should have asked, but I didn't ask. But they were covered with some kind of plastic or something to keep the cold from penetrating to the tubs. Now, you could do that, you know, but it's not included in the rack. So I do count it as a con that the bottom row of panels, or the bottom row of tubs, I feel like does typically run colder than the other tubs will. All right, so that's my review on these racks. You know, the pros and the cons. I definitely feel like the pros outweigh the cons when it comes to Freedom Breeder. I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not being, you know, a shill that's like, hey, I get these racks for free, you should buy them because, you know, wink, wink. No, love them. I've got sea serpent racks right next to it too. You know, I honestly, my plan for my rack systems is going to be, I'm going to put all the females in Freedom Breeder racks and my males will go in sea serpent racks. That's the way I'm gonna set it up. Sea serpents makes great racks too. So don't knock them. Nothing wrong with PVC. PVC sometimes works better for some people. You know, I know my buddy Antoine, Hunters of Pythons, he's running all PVC because it's better for him humidity wise, you know? So do what works best for you. This is all personal preference. You know, I'm sure ARS racks work great. For me, aesthetically, I just prefer a Freedom Breeder. That's why I picked them. And one last thing, not the least at all, but you might be wondering, hey, your logo is different now. What happened? So, ironically, I'm talking about this right as I got back from Canova. You know, Justin had that whole rebrand that he did, which I love it. I think it's great. I'm not so much rebranding. Mine was just more of an updating of the logo. My original logo, it was something I just did really quick in Photoshop because I wanted to convert my Instagram to like a snake page, a snake breeding, my company page basically. And I was like, hey, I need to just put together a logo really quick. So I slapped something together, you know, in Photoshop. I think it looked relatively cool, but it's not, you know, I was never fully satisfied with it. It wasn't something that I was like, that's what I want my logo to permanently be. That's gonna be my brand, you know. So I went online, went to one of those like brand services and just started working with that and made my own logo. So I already have the hats, I've got some stickers, t-shirts will be available on Teespring. There's, you know, a few accessories on there too you can grab, but this will be the logo going forward for Sommers Reptiles. And that's all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. You know, hope it gave you some solid info into like the personal preferences of Freedom Breeder. Once again, thank you to Justin for the Canova facility tour. I still can't get over it. And, you know, hit me up. You want some merch? Got some hats available still. And then, you know, obviously if you get a hat, I'm going to send you some stickers, obviously. Put them on the incubator. And if you've got stickers you want to send me, let me know. I've got plenty of room on the side of the incubator still ready to go. So until next time, guys, take it easy.